Okay, I think we can go ahead and get started. Thank you, everyone, so much for joining us today. My name is Jennifer Cook. I'm the Senior Director of Marketing at the National Cybersecurity Alliance. And we're very excited to share everything that's in store for Cybersecurity Awareness Month this year. So let's get started. Next slide, please. Just a few things to note. This webinar is being recorded. The recording will be uploaded to our website, StaySafeOnline.org, as well as our YouTube page within the next day or so. And we'll also send out a link to the recording to everybody that's joined. We'll also make the presentation slides available to download as well. At any time during the presentation, feel free to ask questions in the Q&A box. We'll have some team members answering questions, and we'll also leave time at the end for Q&A. Also, if there's any members of the press or any press or media inquiries, please direct any of those questions to the email on the screen, cisamedia@cisa.dhs.gov. Next slide. Great. Again, my name is Jennifer Cook. I'm with the National Cybersecurity Alliance, and I'm excited to co-present today with Laura Edwards at CISA. Laura, I'll turn it over to you to introduce yourself and talk about CISA.
Yeah, sure. Thanks, Jen. So hi, everyone. My name is Laura Edwards. I actually recently joined CISA as the new Awareness and Outreach Section Chief and our Stakeholder Engagement Division. So I lead CISA's Cybersecurity Awareness Month efforts, and I'm also the Program Manager for CISA's Cybersecurity Awareness Program, Secure Our World, which launched last September. Next slide. So we're going to put up a quick poll question here, if we can bring that up on the screen. Okay, and it's very straightforward. I'm just curious how many of you have heard of CISA, and we're aware that the federal government has a central agency responsible for cybersecurity. And while you respond, I'd just like to share a little bit about our agency. So as America's Cyber Defense Agency and the National Coordinator for Critical Infrastructure, Resiliency and Security, CISA leads the national effort to understand, manage, and reduce risk to the cyber and physical infrastructure that people across the country rely on every hour of every day. So our mission expands across three primary areas, as you may have guessed: cybersecurity and infrastructure security, as well as emergency communications. And our goal at CISA is really to help organizations like yours better manage risk and increase resilience using all available resources, whether they're provided by the federal government, through commercial vendors, or through their own capabilities. So let's see the results of our poll here. Yes, all right, 93% of you have heard of CISA. That's awesome. For the 7% of you that haven't, welcome to the party. Glad to be sharing a little bit about what we do here with you today. So let's go ahead to the next slide. And I'll turn it back to you, Jen.
Great. Let me just pull up. So just a bit about the National Cybersecurity Alliance. We have been partners with CISA on Cybersecurity Awareness Month since its founding in 2004, but we are a nonprofit organization, and it's our mission to empower a more secure, interconnected world. So we do this by building strong partnerships with public and private sector organizations. We have tons of free resources and articles available on our website, StaySafeOnline.org. And we also run a number of programs throughout the year. We have Cybersecure My Business, which is a series of courses for small business owners. See Yourself in Cyber, which is a program on cybersecurity careers for students at historically Black colleges and universities. We also run Data Privacy Week at the end of January every year, and Convene, which is our twice-a-year conference series for security training and awareness professionals. Next slide, please. So before I turn it back over to Laura, we have another poll question. We're curious if anyone on this call has participated in Cybersecurity Awareness Month before, or if your organization's participated before. Give everyone a minute to chime in. So it looks like 81% of you have participated before. So welcome back. Thank you for joining us again. And welcome to the almost 20% of you that have not participated before. So I hope there's something in here for everyone. For those that have participated before, we'll go over what's new for 2024. Kind of a reminder of some of the things that typically happen every year. And if this is your first time, we'll give you some background on Cybersecurity Awareness Month and some great ways to get involved. So with that, let's go to the next slide, and I think I'll turn it back over to Laura.
Thanks, Jen. So as Jen mentioned, since 2004, the President and Congress have declared the month of October to be Cybersecurity Awareness Month. And that's really dedicated to just, again, raising awareness about the importance of cybersecurity. So if you're doing the math, this marks the 21st Cybersecurity Awareness Month this October. We work, again, cooperatively with NCA to plan this annual awareness campaign. And the goal is really just educating the public about digital security and empowering everyone to take really simple, actionable steps to protect themselves and their personal data. So we want to ensure that organizations like yours, whether they're large or small, public or private, have all the resources and communications they need to talk to their employees and customers about staying safe online. So as Jen mentioned, she's going to be talking a little bit later about all the updated materials that you can expect to see in this year's toolkit. In the meantime, let's go to the next slide. And as I mentioned, the goal of this campaign, again, is just encouraging people to take really simple, straightforward, actionable steps to stay safe online. But the tone of the messaging, we want to keep it positive, accessible, simple, and really just get back to the basics. Let's go to the next slide. We have another poll question for you. So the question is, have you heard of CISA's new year-round cybersecurity awareness program, Secure Our World? And while you answer that, I'm going to share a little bit about Secure Our World. So it just launched last September, right before the 20th anniversary, actually, of Cybersecurity Awareness Month. So it's about 9-10 months old. Our first PSA launched in September. If you've seen it, it's very Wes Anderson styled, focused on families and small businesses. You get to meet the family, Kevin, Max, Ava, and grandparents in our first PSA. And our second PSA, if you're a Gen Xer, elder millennial like myself, maybe a bit nostalgic. It's in the style of the Schoolhouse Rock, so super fun. That launched in May, actually, my first week, so that was pretty exciting. So let's see the results of our first question. Have you heard of Secure Our World? And it's about an even split, so some of you have, some of you haven't. 44% have and 56% of you haven't. So we actually have another poll question. So of the folks that are aware of the Secure Our World program, have you seen our public service announcements or PSAs out in the wild? And you may have seen them while you're streaming your favorite TV show, watching the evening news. Maybe you've heard it while you're driving or shopping in the grocery store. So we're running it everywhere. And hopefully if you haven't seen it, now that you're aware of it, you will see it soon. So in addition to our PSAs, we have a lot of resources. That includes tip sheets. We have translated into various languages. I think we've got 9 now to include Arabic, Chinese, French, Haitian Creole, Hindi, Korean, Punjabi, Spanish, and Vietnamese. If you ever have a need, by the way, for a language translation, there's almost no language we can't translate to, so please feel free to reach out with those requests. We have additional animated videos and some more coming soon, bingo cards, so lots of resources at CISA.gov, and we'll share that link with you. But the enduring Cybersecurity Awareness Month theme is also Secure Our World. So in addition to that 1 month, that campaign is, or that program is really something that we are promoting year long. And so let's see the results of our poll here. 18% of you have seen the PSA, 82% have not. I would love to hear maybe in the next few months if you have seen it or if you do see it. We are hearing from folks, watching TV, like I said, in the grocery store, driving, at baggage claim. So seeing it and hearing it all over, and can't wait to hear it if you do as well. Let's close that poll and go to the next slide. So Secure Our World, again, some of you were not familiar with it, so I just want to go through some of our key messages. And really, again, these actions are super simple, not to take just during October, during Cybersecurity Awareness Month, but really to stay safe every day of the year, to stay safe online. So the first one is using strong passwords and password managers. When we talk about strong passwords, what we're talking about is like 16 characters, which is long, making them random, mix of letters, characters, symbols, numbers, and then unique to every account. So that's a lot to remember, right? I don't know if you're like me, I have trouble just remembering one password sometimes. So that's where a password manager really comes in handy. The password manager can help you generate your unique passwords, your long random unique passwords, and also to save them so that all you really need is that one password for your password manager. So that really comes in handy there. So don't just use a password, right? Turn on multi-factor authentication or MFA for all accounts that offer it. We need more than a password to protect our most important data, like our email, our banking and financial accounts, our social media. So your MFA, that's like your fingerprint, your facial ID, that code that you get sent to your phone via a text or a call. So that's multi-factor authentication. Use it wherever it is available. Next, we want to make sure that software is updated. So if you can enable automatic updates, you don't even have to think about it. You can enjoy your summer, you can enjoy your October, making sure you have the latest security patches to keep all of your devices continuously protected is extremely important. And then last, but certainly not least, is knowing how to recognize and report phishing. I'm going to share an embarrassing story with you, but in my 20s, I did a lot of eBaying. One morning I woke up, I had an email that said my eBay account had been compromised. Click here so you can make your account safer. And I fell for it. So don't be like me. Think before you click. If it's unsolicited, if something doesn't look right, if it sounds too good to be true, like you want a free iPad or a trip to the Bahamas, think before you click. Resist the urge to learn more, delete, report, anything from unknown sources. And let's have a poll question here. We like those here. So our poll question is, what precautions are you encouraging others to take when they're online and using connected devices to improve their cybersecurity? And here you can select all that apply. So using a long, random, unique password for every account, using that password manager, turning on MFA, not clicking on things you're not sure about, enabling those automatic updates, or hopefully nobody answers none of the above, but if you're not already, then you will after today. And let's go ahead and see the results of that poll. All right, so we've got 90% of you using strong passwords, almost 70% using password managers, almost everyone using MFA, which is awesome. You're not falling for the suspicious links like I did. You've got MFA, or you're updating your software, so that's all awesome to see. And nobody is doing none of the above, so that's awesome. Keep doing that great work. And let's go to the next slide. Back over to you, Jen.
Thanks. So for those of you who have participated in Cybersecurity Awareness Month before, you've probably seen those key messages for passwords, MFA, software updates, and phishing. So we will continue focusing very heavily on those during Cybersecurity Awareness Month. I know a lot of people will sometimes like to break them up into weekly themes in their own organizations. So we encourage you to take them. You can, put them out right as is, share them with employees. You can make them your own, or we also encourage you, if those don't quite align with what you're talking about to your employees or communities, like feel free to make it your own as well. Maybe you want to talk more about VPNs, for example, make that a theme. But Cybersecurity Awareness Month is really just a great opportunity to amplify the importance of cybersecurity and the cybersecurity basics, and making sure that everybody is aware of the simple steps they can take to stay safe online. So I'm sure the vast majority of people on this call know the importance of software updates and multi-factor authentication, but it's important to keep in mind that a lot of people outside of cybersecurity still aren't aware that these are very, very important things they should do, and aren't aware that some of them are actually quite easy to do, like turning on automatic updates. So I wanted to share some data that we've collected on cybersecurity and feelings towards cybersecurity in general. So the National Cybersecurity Alliance has a report that we release ahead of October every year called "Oh Behave: The Annual Cybersecurity Attitudes and Behaviors Report." So we'll have another report coming out this year, just ahead of October. But a lot of the data that we find in this report kind of guides the messaging and how we talk about cybersecurity throughout the rest of the year. So I wanted to share some of that with you. And this is from last year's report in 2023. It's available to download on our website. And in the report, we asked people about, their attitudes towards cybersecurity, how it makes them feel. 84% of people consider staying secure online a priority. So we learned like this is important to people. People want to stay safe, they want to stay secure, but 39% of people say they feel frustrated, and 37% of people say that the information they receive on how to stay secure online is confusing. So people are getting, inundated with a lot of information. Sometimes security can be tricky. So we want to try to, work together with our partners around unified messaging and try to break through the noise to empower people to take control of their online lives and take even just one or two steps that will keep them so much more secure online. We've also learned that only 44% of Americans report having access to training programs, which is another reason why we're trying to reach, everyone, people that may not have access to these programs through work or school. We want to make sure that they're seeing these resources as well. Next slide, please. We also asked people about their specific cybersecurity behaviors. Some interesting things we've learned, and there's a lot of data in the report on a bunch of different behaviors, so I encourage you to check it out. But we learned that 30% of participants have never heard of multi-factor authentication, whether it's MFA, two-factor, any of the terms, although people who have heard of it are very, very likely to use it and to keep using it. 60% of people say they always or very often install the latest software updates. There were a lot of positive behaviors when it comes to phishing and reporting phishing. People are usually very confident in their ability to identify phishing attempts, although we want to make sure this isn't a false confidence, as phishing is getting very, very hard to identify. We want to make sure people are still staying aware of that. 37% of people who don't use a password manager say it's because they don't trust any single provider. So when we talk about password managers, we'll talk a lot about, how to pick the right provider, one that's right for you, a legitimate provider, and what the benefits are of using a password manager. And we also learned that 38% of Americans incorporate their personal information into their passwords, like a dog's name or the street they grew up on, for example. So we will be talking about that when we talk about passwords as well. Next slide, please. So I'm going to share a few key ways to become a partner of this campaign. I'll talk about the National Cybersecurity Alliance Champions Program, and then I'll turn it over to Laura to talk about some opportunities with CISA. Next slide, please. So again, if you've participated before, you might be familiar with our Champions program. Champions represent partners dedicated to promoting a safer, more secure, connected world. So we invite organizations of any kind and size to sign up. You can also sign up as an individual. Last year, we had over 4,000 champion organizations and individuals sign up from 93 different countries. So this is truly an international initiative. All champions, it's completely free to sign up. You just fill out a form on our website and you'll receive a toolkit of free resources. We'll also if you sign up on behalf of an organization, we'll list your organization's name on our website. It's a great opportunity to promote your participation in the campaign and show your commitment to cybersecurity education. And it's a great way to stay in touch on campaign news and receive updates on new events and materials as they're released. So the link to become a champion is at the bottom of the slide. It's up on our website right now, so you can sign up. The toolkit will be available in the upcoming weeks. So if you sign up now, you will receive an email with that toolkit as soon as it's available. However, on the next slide, if you can move forward, I can share the materials that will be available when you receive that toolkit. So we include a partner guide on the campaign. It includes a lot of materials from this presentation, ways to get involved, different messages you can use, different stats you can use in your own campaigns. We have a lot of additional resources from other organizations as well that are free and that we find very helpful. we provide you with a long list of sample social media posts and graphics that you can take and put on your own profiles. We leave room for you to add your logo to the graphics as well. We have tip sheets from the Secure Our World campaign. We have video conference backgrounds like the ones Laura and I are using right now, an email signature, infographics, sample slides like the slide deck that you can take and customize and use for your own presentations in October. And we also have a number of new, brand new resources as well that were not available last year. We have the new Secure Our World PSAs. We'll also have an activity kit for kids. So this is great if you're a parent or an educator to share this activity kit with your students. We'll have different games like crosswords and bingo cards. We also have a tip sheet for raising good digital citizens. We'll have some new posters as well and a guide on how to report different types of cybercrime. So all of this will be available in the upcoming week. So you'll receive if you sign up to become a champion, you'll receive an email with all of these resources, and you are welcome to copy, print, disseminate them however you like. You can use them exactly as is. You can, copy and paste your logo onto them. You can take the copy and use it for your own materials. Maybe you want to put it in your own company's branding or a different kind of style. You can take whatever you like from here and customize it and use it however you like. You don't need our permission. Next slide, please. Laura, I'll turn it back to you.
Thanks, Jen. So as Jen mentioned, there are a lot of different opportunities to partner with NCA on Cybersecurity Awareness Month. You can also partner as either an individual or an organization with CISA for Cybersecurity Awareness Month. Our email address is here, awarenesscampaigns@cisa.dhs.gov. Your organization can also partner with the Secure Our World program. If you'd like to extend beyond Cybersecurity Awareness Month, like I said, Secure Our World is an enduring campaign or an enduring program that continues beyond just the month it's year long. So we have an exciting opportunities guide that's going to be coming out in the coming weeks with all different ways that you can partner with the Secure Our World program. So whether that's amplifying our messaging on social media or downloading our existing resources, we can also work with you to tailor our resources for your own needs. Host an event, invite a CISA speaker, co-branding materials. Like I said, there are so many different ways that you and your organization can get involved. And so we look forward to sharing that with you. But really the benefits of working with us here at CISA are, you'll see on the slide, changing behaviors, reducing risk across the nation. Again, by collaborating on social media, we can share data, we can work with you to highlight your partnerships. And so if you're interested, again, please reach out to our awareness campaigns inbox, and we're happy to see how we can work with you going forward. Jen, back over to you. Next slide.
Great. So in this next section, we have a number of suggested ways to build your own campaign and get involved in the month. So hopefully you can get some inspiration from these suggestions for your own campaigns and activities, and you can see what has been successful for other partners in the past. But something I want to stress is that Cybersecurity Awareness Month is so successful every year because of all of our partners and their activities. So we encourage you to get creative. Again, you are welcome to take everything we provide for you and use it for your campaigns. You're also welcome to do your own thing and still call it a Cybersecurity Awareness Month event or campaign. And also let us know what you're doing. At the end of each Cybersecurity Awareness Month, we send out a survey to all of our registered champions, and we ask you what you did, what went well, what didn't. We ask for some photos as well. So if you're comfortable sharing those, we'd love to see your activities, and we love to share them with others with your permission as well. And you'll see some of those in these next few slides. So on the next slide, you'll see one of the questions we sent out in our survey last year asking how partners participated in Cybersecurity Awareness Month 2023. So these are some very common activities if you're just getting started in Cybersecurity Awareness Month. These are great things to start with, like sending out an email to employees. We have a full template for that email in our toolkit, which it looks like 34% of champions did that last year. Many posted a blog or article to their website or their intranet site. A lot of times people will take the copy we provide in our different toolkit materials, and we'll tweak it to your campaign, or we'll put it together in an email or a blog for employees. many people hosted a training or event. A lot of people take this opportunity to send out phishing quizzes or whole different competitions. Many people posted to the month about the month on social media platforms, and also again hosting a quiz or a contest for employees. On the next slide, you'll see just some other common ways people typically get involved at work. We see a lot of people getting involved internally, trying to promote these topics and different cybersecurity advice to their employees, whether it's a specific department or just company-wide. So we saw people do a lot of different fun events. We've heard of ice cream socials, Halloween themed cybersecurity costume contests, again, giveaways, contests, quizzes. People really like to have a lot of fun with it. So I encourage you to have fun, bring in different themes. It's very engaging for people that don't typically follow along with cybersecurity throughout the year like the rest of us do. We've also seen local governments declare October Cybersecurity Awareness Month for their towns and send out proclamations. Some people record videos with their CEOs or their CISOs that they share with employees on internet sites to show how much their companies care about cybersecurity and how dedicated they are to cybersecurity. So again, posting articles, posting tips and resources to an intranet site is very popular, or perhaps doing something a little more public, like putting up a banner or an article on your website. We also encourage you to get involved externally as well. Just thinking back to that number 44% of Americans having access or not having access to cybersecurity trainings. It's important to try to reach people out in the community as well, because those are often the people that don't typically receive these messages or have the same resources that employees in our organizations have. So I encourage you to reach out to your customers and audiences. If we see a lot of schools participate as well, engaging students, maybe having, we've seen poster contests for students where students create informative educational posters on online safety and hang them around the school. Or IT departments will set up a booth with giveaways at a student center and people can kind of come by and ask them any questions. We often get questions about providing giveaways, and I wanted to recommend just a few resources. There are different agencies like the FTC where you can bulk order physical resources. And I also suggest, and this has been very successful for many people, reaching out to your managed service provider to see if they have any branded swag or giveaways that you can give out to employees. Even just having something small like a cup or a pen or just something to give out and engage people at events or at a booth is really effective. I've mentioned that this is also a very popular time to conduct mock phishing simulations, tabletop exercises. I'll talk a bit about events in a few minutes, but I want to remind you with all of these events, and especially with the contests and the phishing simulations, remember to reward positive behavior and positive engagement from your employees. It is much less effective if you're punishing people for their mistakes. So again, that's the importance of having giveaways, having ice cream socials, and pizza parties during Cybersecurity Awareness Month. Also, at the end of the month, don't forget that if you're doing a lot of different activities for your employees, send them a follow-up at the end to remind them about what you have achieved, how many people participated. Maybe everybody did really, really well on the phishing simulation that month. Let them know and remind them with resources that they can use throughout the rest of the year as well, beyond Cybersecurity Awareness Month. Next slide, please. And don't forget about getting involved at home. As mentioned, we will have an activity kit for kids. So October is a good time to make sure that you and your family are on the same page when it comes to your use of technology and how your kids should and shouldn't share their information online. It's a good time to have that tech talk and set those boundaries. So just like you would with employees, it's also important to create a positive culture at home as well, where family members can also, feel comfortable telling you if there's an incident and can ask, questions they might have about how they should conduct themselves online. Next slide. And in the community, again, we are, at the end of the day, trying to make sure that everybody has access to the resources and tools they need to stay safe online. So something we're really trying to encourage security professionals to do is to teach others in your community and use it as a volunteer opportunity to give back. We see the cybersecurity professionals volunteer at their kids' school to give a talk, a library, a community center, a Boy or Girl Scout troop, a senior center, their church or synagogue. So they're something to consider for October and year round. We actually have a volunteer toolkit on our website with some advice on how to get started, how to reach out to an organization in your community to volunteer, and kind of how to craft that presentation for your audience. So just another way to get involved in Cybersecurity Awareness Month and spread the word. Next slide. And lastly, we hope you also get involved online. We have 2 hashtags that we'll be using during the month, hashtag Cybersecurity Awareness Month and hashtag Secure Our World. So if you have room for both, please use them. Or if you just have room for one, we will be monitoring the hashtags throughout the month as well to see what you all are doing. So we're always happy to help, amplify other great resources that are out there to NCA's channels. And again, we have sample social media posts and graphics that you are welcome to use. Next slide. I'll turn it back over to Laura.
Thanks, Jen. So you may be wondering at this point, how can you help build a strong cybersecurity culture within your own organization? So here are just a few options or ways we encourage you to do that. And the first is using basic cybersecurity training. So help familiarize staff with cybersecurity concepts and activities associated with implementing cybersecurity best practices. I think Jen mentioned a statistic earlier in our webinar today about training resources, and I think only 44% of people said that they knew where to find resources. So by helping folks use those cybersecurity training resources that are available through professional associations, as well as educational institutions, private sector, and government resources. By sharing those, you can help increase that statistic there. And then staying current on events and incidents. This really helps to identify lessons learned and to maintain vigilance and agility to cybersecurity trends. And by encouraging your employees to make good choices online and to learn about the risks like phishing and business email compromise, those are all ways that we can help build strong cybersecurity cultures. So let's go to the next slide. Events, back over to you, Jen.
Thanks. So October is a great time to host an event, and we have a few different suggestions here. So on the next slide, if you plan on hosting your own event, we have a few tips to keep in mind, and we talk a lot about this in our toolkit guide as well. But just to give you an overview, it's important to start out by identifying your audience and the behavior you want to change. So maybe you want to do an event for a specific department in your organization. Maybe it's for the entire organization. Know who you want to reach and what you want them to do. It doesn't have to align with our 4 messages. Maybe you want everyone to start using an authenticator app, for example. Don't be afraid to really hone in on one topic if that is what's most important to your organization. It's also a good opportunity to, conduct a live demonstration, show people how to set up multi-factor authentication, things like that. Keeping it light, cybersecurity is a serious issue, but our conversations don't have to be scary. So make sure the event content, kind of going back to the tone that we talked about earlier, making sure that it's empowering for your audience, because when people get scared, they aren't likely to take any action. It's easier to just kind of pull back from it. But if they feel empowered, if we show them that this is something that is achievable, they're much more likely to change their behaviors. So using humor, using storytelling, making it relatable. A lot of people prefer presentations that have to do with their home life. They want resources they can take back for their families and kids, as opposed to resources that they can only just use in their organization. So tying it back to something personal can also be very effective as well. Showing buy-in from leadership is something we highly recommend. Engaging your organization's C-suite to emphasize the importance of cybersecurity to the organization can help establish a cybersecurity into the corporate culture. It's great to, again, by keeping it engaging, recognizing and rewarding positive engagement. Also keeping things fresh by inviting an outside speaker. I'm going to talk about how you can invite speakers from NCA and CISA to talk to your organization. But it's also helpful for people to see just a new, fresh voice. Sometimes if maybe you're the one that's always, talking to people about cybersecurity, sometimes it helps to change it up. Maybe if you use again, like a security vendor, see if they can provide a speaker as well. And also, don't forget to follow up at the end of the event. Like I mentioned, at the end of the month, it's great to follow up with resources. Reach out to your attendees afterwards. Thank them for coming. Send them the slides, send them any follow-up resources they might need and that you covered during the event. Next slide, please. So you can request a speaker for your Cybersecurity Awareness Month events from CISA and CA. Laura, I'll let you talk to CISA's process first.
Yeah, absolutely. Thanks, Jen. So we've gotten quite a few questions actually in the Q&A if you're following along about if there's a list of speakers or expertise to pick from. We can provide CISA SMEs to speak on a variety of topics, and we've dropped a few of those in the Q&A, including CFATs, ransomware, cyber hygiene, school security, supply chain security, lots of different topic areas just as suggestions. If you have others, you can also request those. But if you're not sure who you want to speak, you can always leave that blank when you request a speaker. And to do that, we actually have a form at CISA.gov, the CISA speaker request form. It can be downloaded again from our website and just emailed to CISA.speakers@CISA.dhs.gov. Again, that's available here on the slide. We do ask that if it's a request for Cybersecurity Awareness Month, that we have those no later than August 30th. That way we can adjudicate all of the requests that we receive, or do our best to do that. So we will try to provide speakers at any event that's requested. Again, you have the information to contact and then our website here to download that speaker request form. And again, you don't have to know who you want to speak, just have a topic in mind and we can help you find a speaker. Jen, back over to you.
So from NCA, our staff is offering 3 different presentations for organizations this year who are looking for a speaker. So our first is based on our cybersecurity attitudes and behaviors report. So we'll walk your employees through the cyber basics, and we'll also ask them poll questions from our report and compare their practices to the practices of the overall general population, so you can see how your employees stack up with others. Next, we also have a fun trivia game show where participants can compete with each other by answering cybersecurity related questions. We have 2 very funny game show hosts that will lead those questions. And third, we're offering a new type of presentation this year about doxing. So this is actually co-presented between NCA and Kristen Sudakon, who goes by NotCon Jr. on TikTok. She has over 1 million followers, and she consensually doxes people. So people will challenge her to find information about them online. People who think that their birthday is very well hidden, that you can't find their personal information. They challenge her to go on to their profiles, do some digging, and she shows how she did it, how easy it is to find personal information online, even if you think it's very well hidden. And then her and NCA will talk through on this presentation about how doxers find your personal information and how you can protect yourself. So all of these presentations are available on a first come, first served basis. You can learn more about each one through the link on the screen. We have kind of videos and PDFs explaining each one in detail, how long they are, who the speakers are. But I encourage you, if you're interested in one of them, to get your requests in now. We do fill up pretty quickly and we're getting a lot of requests. So again, that's first come, first serve through the link on the screen, and we have a form there as well. Next slide. Also, stay tuned for upcoming event announcements. We will have a virtual kickoff event on October 2nd with a lot of great speakers from industry leaders and federal officials talking about Cybersecurity Awareness Month. We'll also have our annual cyber chat on X, where we invite everyone to participate and share their resources and answer questions and repost each other's resources. So more details about both of these and announcements and invitations will be coming out shortly. So stay tuned. a link to our events calendars on the screen. We will be now announcing more events as well. So I encourage you to get signed up for our emails or CISA's emails to be notified when new events are announced. And we also have a partner calendar section of our website on StaySafeOnline.org. So if you're hosting an event that's open to the public, we are happy to add that to our website's partner calendar to help get people there. So just you can send us an email with the event details. Our email's on the screen at info@StaySafeOnline.org. Next slide. Okay, we'll wrap up with just some ways you can contact us. CISA, for CISA, Laura, how can people get in contact with you?
Yeah, I would encourage any of you to visit the websites that you see here on the screen or the social media accounts that you see here on the screen to stay up to date with cybersecurity awareness and also Secure Our World program content. Follow us on social media. You see all of our accounts here, and we can link them for you in the chat as well. But if you have any questions, again, I just point you back to that awareness campaign email. Feel free to follow up with us after this if you have any questions about resources, about updates, about materials. Look forward to that opportunities guide that we'll be sharing with you all. If you've participated today, then we'll make sure that you receive a copy. But if you have any questions about any of the content that you've heard today, feel free to reach out to us, and we're happy to answer your questions.
Next slide, please. You can also get in contact with the National Cybersecurity Alliance at info@StaySafeOnline.org. And on our social media platforms, we'll be posting about Cybersecurity Awareness Month resources leading up to October. So it's another great way to stay engaged as well. And with that, we have some time for questions. I know we have a lot of questions in the Q&A box. A number of you I see have raised your hand. So if you don't mind putting your questions in the box, that would be great. So I see we've gotten some questions about, since the 4 key messages were also used last year, if there are any suggestions for creating training materials on how to keep the information new and not monotonous. So we have updated a lot of our resources with new copy that you can use. We will be also releasing resources in the toolkit for specific audiences and addressing different topics in cybersecurity, like AI, for example, I know is on everyone's mind. So we'll be talking about that as well. We're also getting a lot more in depth on a lot of those key messages. We're going to, the National Cybersecurity Alliance will release some kind of live like demonstrations and training videos that you can also use. So kind of back to what I was saying before, I know this stuff is kind of repetitive for a lot of us, and we certainly don't want it to be repetitive for employees. We want to keep them engaged. But there are still a lot of people that unfortunately don't perform these things, even if they've heard about them. So I encourage you to still promote those key messages, because there are a lot of people out there that are not aware of them or have maybe heard of them, but don't like really care to, to do anything about them. And again, if these aren't resonating with you and your organization, feel free to bring in other resources. So both CISA and NCA have a ton of resources, a ton of articles on our websites on different topics. Maybe you want to talk about social media, maybe you want to talk about AI and deepfakes. You can pull any of that content from our websites. If you're looking for something specific, maybe you are looking for educational materials on a specific topic, let us know, reach out, and we'll try to point you in the right direction as well. There's a question here. If you were a champion last year, do we need to sign up again as a champion? Yes, we do ask that you sign up again as a champion so we can make sure that you're getting the newest toolkit materials. Someone has a question. Is it okay to use info from the threat landscape slide? Yes, so any of the stats you see in our report on these slides in the toolkit, you're welcome to use all of that. We ask for, if you maybe point people back to the report so they can learn more. But yes, you are more than welcome to take that information and use it in your own presentations.
Jen, there are quite a few questions in here about requesting a CISA speaker, if they can be international, if they can be virtual, in person. There's a lot of different ways that you can request a speaker, again, virtual, in person. We will try to get to as many of those requests as we possibly can. The process is the same, whether it's international or domestic. So just make sure you get your requests in early, again, before August 30th. So that we can try to participate in your events. And yes, they can be live, they can be pre-recorded. We're happy to work with you in any way that works best for your organization.
Great. We have a question here about resources for seniors and the elderly. So on our website, StaySafeOnline.org, we do have resources for seniors and the elderly. We also have speakers that can, talk to this audience throughout the year. We've spoken to senior living centers in the past as well. So we typically like to share, the cyber basics with this audience as well. But we do have advice on reaching this audience specifically, and actually in our volunteer toolkit that I mentioned a little while back, we actually have a slide specifically for talking to older adults. So I encourage you to check that out. Someone asked if they could use tip sheets, resources on digital screens around campus. Absolutely, I highly encourage you to. We also have posters as well that might be, well suited to digital screens. So absolutely. Let's see, someone asked where the posters are. So those will be available in the toolkit. So those will be emailed out to all champions in the next few weeks. Someone also asked for the links that are being shared today. So all the links that are being shared, we'll make sure are also sent out to you tomorrow when we send out the recording and the slides as well. Let's see. Someone asked about the target audience for the toolkit. So our toolkit is intended to be used by people like yourselves that are running, programs in their organizations on cybersecurity and Cybersecurity Awareness Month for the general public and employees. So we keep it very general to leave you room to customize it, to change things as needed, since not everybody has the same needs. So that is why we're very focused on the cyber basics, the things that anyone can do to stay safe online. So we rely on our partners like you all to take the toolkit and to get it out to your audiences. At the end of the day, we're trying to reach the general public and everyday internet users. Laura, there's a question for you. Does CISA have any resources for the military to help them engage in Cybersecurity Awareness Month and help service members better understand online safety?
Thanks, Jen. I think there's nothing specifically tailored to the military that I'm aware of. We are happy to work with you again on tailoring customized messaging. If you reach out to us at our inbox awareness campaigns at cisa.dhs.gov. That is one way that we can absolutely partner if there are, and it doesn't have to be just military, if there are other organizations that are interested in tailored messaging for your organization or specific populations, we're happy to talk to you more about that. Just reach out to us at that inbox. Our messaging, again, similar to what Jen just said on some of the documents and toolkit materials that we already have, are very general for anyone to use. So you can certainly use them for military personnel, but we're again happy to customize resources and materials with you if you'd like to explore that with us.
There's also a question in here for CISA and NCA speakers. Is there a cost to speak virtually? Laura, you want to go first?
There is no cost for CISA speakers, so feel free to send those requests. They do not come with any sort of fee.
And for NCA, we do ask for an honorarium. It's not required. We understand that there are budget restrictions. We don't ask for an honorarium from schools or nonprofits or government organizations, but if you are a larger enterprise, we do ask if you can contribute an honorarium. But even if you can't, please reach out to us anyway, and we're happy to work with you. I see a question about the NCA presentations. There is no deadline for requesting an NCA presentation, but it is first come, first served. So I encourage you to get that in as soon as possible. Our calendars typically fill up for October in the summer months. So that would be a great time to get that request in. Someone asked about low cost or no cost activities for Cybersecurity Awareness Month, having a small budget, and any recommendations on overcoming these challenges. So again, I'll plug our resources, the toolkit, all of that it's completely free for you to use. So I recommend trying to utilize those as much as possible wherever you can. We're also going to provide links to additional resources from other organizations that are low cost. So there are a lot of free resources out there. But, I'm always, if you're looking for something specific, please reach out. We're always happy to point people in the right direction and help them find the resources they need. And everything we promote is either low cost or no cost. So, that's a great way to get started. Someone asked if it's possible to register on a champion and not be published on our site. Absolutely. If you don't want to be published on our site, that's totally fine. Please just send us an email and we'll make sure not to publish you on our page. Someone asked if they could use the NCA logo on t-shirts. So we don't make our logo widely available to use, but feel free to reach out to us. We're happy to have that conversation as well. And we also have NCA has its own store on our website, so you can always purchase a t-shirt from us. Let's see, we have a lot more questions. For the trivia game, someone asked if they could get a scoring sheet afterwards for providing prizes. I think that's possible. I'll need to double check with the event organizers, but at the end of the trivia game, you can see a leaderboard of everybody that's competed and what their scores are. So yeah, you can absolutely follow up and give a prize to the winner. Can we get a copy of the trivia game show questions if we can't have a speaker come? Yeah, I think that would be possible. I'll check with our team. Feel free to reach out to us with your question directly. If we'd love to come speak to your organization, but if it doesn't work out, I think we could provide the trivia questions. Another question on presentations, is the honorarium request for all NCA presentations or in person only? It is for all presentations. Again, it's not required. We do require it. The only thing we require it for is the consensual doxing presentation, as that requires a lot of prep time and work ahead of time. But again, even if you're not sure if you can, if you have the budget or if you don't have the budget, please reach out to us anyway. Laura, there's a question for you. Can the CISA videos be linked to in a newsletter?
Yes, absolutely. They are publicly available. Those links have been shared here. They're on YouTube. Feel free to share them far and wide. We would love to have more people see them. Absolutely.
Laura, here's another one. I'll let you take first. What times are speakers available? Looks like someone's asking for a high school audience.
Great question. We can absolutely work with you. Just get those requests in again sooner than later so that we can try to fulfill them as best we can. I'm assuming if it's a high school audience, it's probably during the school day, but question is, where is it in the country? So we have, I don't know if we shared this already, but we have CISA regions across the country, 10 CISA regional offices and staff available. So if you're looking for someone live, we can try to fulfill your request that way. We can also provide virtual speakers probably anytime, East Coast, West Coast, doesn't matter. Just get your request in so that we can try to fulfill it as soon as we can. And I should add to that, if you have a time in mind, let us know, but we can also be flexible and work with you.
Let's see, we're getting a few more questions in. Laura, I don't know if there's any you want to address specifically. Someone asked if there's any games or worksheets they could present to attendees. Those will be available through the toolkit. I mentioned that activity kit for kids with crosswords and word searches, but you are absolutely welcome to give those out to adult audiences as well if you're looking for some games or the bingo cards. And also printing out the tip sheets is a great physical item to give out to attendees.
There are a couple questions about the use of logos, Jen. So as far as adding your organization's logos to our materials, we can absolutely work with you to determine what resources we have that meet the needs of your audience and then see about adding your logo to them. If you do that, we may share some of the content that you publish on social media to help amplify and feature your organization's contributions to our Cybersecurity Awareness Month efforts. Additionally, if you are looking to use our logo, please reach out to us. Again, awareness campaigns at CISA.dhs.gov so that we can see what best works for you.
I also have a question if there are speakers available that are fluent in Spanish. Unfortunately, from NCA, we do not have speakers that are fluent in Spanish, although if you are looking for Spanish language content, our full website is available in Spanish. So you are welcome to take the materials on there for your audiences. And I know Laura mentioned there's also Spanish language materials for Secure Our World, but Laura, does CISA have Spanish speakers that can give presentations?
That is a great question. We are a fairly big agency, and I am not sure if we have Spanish speakers specifically for Secure World or Cybersecurity Awareness Month, but that absolutely does not mean don't make the request. Make the request, and we will do the best we can in fulfilling language requests as well.
See, so I think we're almost out of time. I know there are some questions in here. We'll make sure that anyone who has submitted a question that we weren't able to get to, that we'll make sure that everybody has resources. Feel free to reach out to either one of us with your questions, especially if you have specific questions about your organization getting involved in particular. If there is a specific resource you're looking for on a specific topic, you're also welcome to reach out to us. We work with a lot of different partners on different resources, so we're happy to try to point you in the right direction if you're not seeing what you're looking for. Someone actually asked about, for example, resources on job scams. We have that available on our website as well. We have a number of partners that have resources on job scams. So if you reach out to us at info@StaySafeOnline.org, we're happy to send those over to you. So with that, I think we will wrap up there. Again, if we didn't get to your question, feel free to reach out to us. But I think we actually have one more poll question for anyone that's left on the line that I'm going to launch. So do you plan to get involved in Cybersecurity Awareness Month this year? And if you say no, then again, reach out to us. How can we help you get involved? Let us know what you need from us, even if we can't provide it for the toolkit. This year, we're always looking for suggestions for resources in future campaigns, and we want to learn how we can improve future campaigns so we can continue being a resource for you. Share the results. and 98% of you said yes, which is awesome. So it's really great to see, and we really look forward to seeing everything that all of your activities during October. Keep us posted, tag us, let us know what's going on in your organizations and what's successful for you. This stuff is also really helpful for other partners as well, to learn about what works for other organizations. So with that, we are out of time. Thank you so much for joining us this afternoon. We really appreciate your commitment to Cybersecurity Awareness Month. Thank you to Laura and CISA for co-presenting with us and being our partners. So with that, I think we will wrap up there. Thank you all so much.